Hey everybody, Krunky here. Just wanted to let you know there's a little bit of audio issues in this episode. Nothing too major. I just wanted to let you know that we are aware of it. We recorded it while we played the game that we discuss, and it led to us kind of talking or shouting over the audio in the game a bit. Anyway, hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. Hey everybody, welcome to a Go Lurk Yourself one-of-a-kind exclusive podcast where we're going to talk about PUBG while we play PUBG, guys, not PUBG, PUBG.
Is that like Tub Girl?
It's like Tub Girl, but way more disgusting. It's called PUBG. Today we have the voice you just heard, Gorby, who is our good friend who plays PUBG with us, and we have Cherry Cake, who is the co-host of the podcast, and this is Krunky. Kind of the general outline I have for the discussion, just to kind of keep us on track because we're going to be distracted a lot, is let's talk about, while we get ready here, what was your introduction to PUBG? Where did you first hear about it, and what were your initial impressions after hearing about it?
I think my first one was coming from YouTubers, but it was H1Z1 first that started me on to this kind of battle royale kind of game. And then they just started talking about this new one that was coming out, which was meant to be like infinitely better. And yeah, that was my introduction to it.
For me, I heard it from the Giant Bomb podcast. They started talking about it, and then they kept talking about it. Then they kept talking about it, and so I said, okay, I haven't played a shooter on a PC, a serious shooter on a PC in a long time. Let's give it a shot. And I kind of fell in love right away, and then I started spreading the joy.
Like a communicable disease that has swept the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the first person I heard talk about it was either Gorby or B-Shiv. They're like, oh, it's like H1N1 but better, or Z1 but better, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, ugh. My first impression was gross. I hate those games. I hated them like an old man because I had never played them, but just the idea of them pissed me off, and I didn't want to play them. I got the game. I was like, what the hell ever? A bunch of people are playing it. I got it, and I have since been like through a wild roller coaster of emotions about the game, for sure. So the next part, let's talk a little bit about like your first couple of days of playing, your first impressions, and how that changed versus what your expectations were.
Well, for me, I bought the game without anybody I know playing it, and I played a couple of matches. I got pretty deep into the solo matches without any kills, as you can do. And I decided to bring some friends over and make them buy it. We landed and we played for about 12 hours. And I think we played with you that day, Krunnk. And I don't know. It's definitely a game that, for me, hits like a social button that I need hit every once in a while.
Yeah, I can totally hear that. And I know what you mean. On one of the previous episodes we recorded, Jack Packard and I, episode 5, I believe it is, we chatted about this game, and he does on previously recorded their YouTube channel. They do actual full-on game reviews. When Jack and I were talking about it, he said the reason he can't recommend it is because in his mind anyway, when he's recommending a game, it's based on the solo experience, and he said that's not there. And his co-host Rich was of that mind.
I would have played it solo for about 2 hours, and then I'd have been done. Maybe okay, I'll be fair, 5 hours, and right. I would have been done. It just wouldn't have hooked me. However, because we have played as groups, I have 250, 300 hours into this game.
Yeah, that's definitely the social thing that drives me.
You were saying that I don't like playing the single player, and you're absolutely right. It's a very different dynamic when you're playing by yourself to when you're playing in a squad. And I've tried playing a single solo mode, and I just find it really boring.
I do have to say that when you play solo is the only times that you feel like you're going to shit your pants when you get shot out of nowhere.
Yeah, definitely got me.
I actually would stream this game, and when I was playing solo, I had one of my users would interject at tense moments with like sound effects, and it like one day I legit lost control and got super pissed off.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
And I try not to do, especially against viewers. I mean, that's like number one rule of Twitch streaming is don't do that. One of the first things I realized, I have a little bit of an analytical brain. That's what I do professionally as an analyst. And one of the things that I thought about for a long time when this game was released was, understand me better. What about this game hooks me so hard? Because I've got 350 hours in it, and it's only been out. We've only been playing it for what, 2-3 months?
I've been playing since April.
So 4 or 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think it comes down to, in addition to the social aspect, I think you're right, Gorby. That's the strongest pull, is the social side. But it's got a really good carrot on a stick of just the right amount of frantic action. But it's got the perfect mix of action where it's not solid action all the time, because that would be exhausting. But it's got the loot. You're constantly trying to loot. You get in your group fast. You can get into the game quick. You figure organize 100 people in a multiplayer game would be difficult, but not really.
So after how many hours have we each got in this game now? I think I'm about 200 hours, I think.
Yes.
Like 350 here. I don't mind the solo mode as much. I've got probably 100 of that as solo, 200 with you guys. And
really? You have that many hours? I probably have 30 hours maybe. And I'm doing that just to kind of get used to playing, solo. It's a different game.
Yeah, one of the things that I really love about the game is the strategy of it. I love figuring out which circles we need to go to and what the best strategy is. And like the macro level planning of the game, it really fascinates me, because I watch a lot of people stream it at night before I go to bed. I find it really relaxing and fun to watch. Another key reason why I think we've played it so much is I find myself motivated to, thanks to NVIDIA Shadowplay, I've been recording clips and editing them into like highlight reels of not even kills, just the comedy things that have in this game. The physics engine is so wonky that it creates some hilarious moments for streaming and for hanging out with your friends. You don't remember the time you got a triple kill, but you remember the time that you flipped the Jeep and ran over 8 of your teammates.
That's so true.
That's absolutely. I've never clipped a game like this ever. And I find myself having a lot of fun on the motorcycles, especially.
The physics on the bikes
you are all aware.
Are the worst ever.
You can't see the air quotes I'm doing when you say physics.
Yes, yeah, very loosely based physics.
That kind of brings me to part of the game that really is. I love it. I love this game. I've said it multiple times on stream. It's my favorite game. It's the game I hate the most. I spent the most time in. For everything it does great, it has a couple of really bad eyesores, and that's the netcode, I would say, is really not great inside in like close quarters combat.
However, just on top of that, why is it that we can overlook these, like some of them are major flaws, but yet we can still come back to happily play it?
Because of the social experience with the comedy, with the kills, it's like Dark Souls. Not that it's like Dark Souls, but why the hell are you smashing yourself 700 times? But then every once in a while you get through. And I think it's because it's an accessible game. Anybody
God damn
can
it,
play
Gorby!
game.
This is the one episode of we were not going to talk about Dark Souls.
Oh well, I just brushed on it. So, but what I'm saying is, like when you're playing that game and you beat a boss, you're like, "Holy shit, that was amazing!" It took me 3 hours to kill this guy, and I did it. And
yeah, I agree 100%. We don't get chicken dinners all the time, but when you do, it's amazing.
Right, it's a hell of a rush.
For the 4 people that don't know what PUBG is that might be listening to this, chicken dinner is basically that when you win at the end, they say winner, winner, chicken dinner. And that's just basically the only award you get other than their little bounty points to get useless treasures, which I suppose we should talk about next, the useless treasure boxes.
Yes, we have microtransactions leaking into this game, which we knew it was going to happen, and it's going to make $1 zillion. So I think back to other games I've played to this level that were social. And of course, you can't say these things without like, WoW coming up. World of Warcraft was definitely a game that I spent a lot of time on, mostly for the social aspect. Yep, we could raid, but man, that was stressful. And we could do a whole lot of things in that game, but you had a group of people you played with. Sometimes it changed. Few people would go in, few people would come out. It's just how it is. But this game is a lot like that, in my opinion.
But yeah, I agree with you 100%. The social aspect of it was it. I know I'm giving you shit about this for fun, but Gorby had some plans change, and we were both taking a day off work. We were just fucking play all day, and he ended up not being able to be there. And I was like, what the hell? I mean, I ended up playing anyway, but it was just one of those things that reminded me of it when you said the strong social aspect. You're talking to a guy who used to set his alarm clock for raids and old MMOs, so I get that 100%, and this does remind me of that a lot.
The other thing as well is that in relation to WoW as well, when I found like when you did raids, there were, there could be anything up to like 30 people in one raid. So to me, like Gorby was saying, it felt like a lot of work, a lot of effort to coordinate people. Whereas this, the most you can have is 4 people in a team. And it feels very intimate, for a lack of better of a word.
Yeah.
So I like that aspect of it.
It's interesting. Because you look at the cross group of people that are playing this, the people we're playing with, how many of those people would have played any kind of shooter?
I know what you're getting at. Cherry, your sister-in-law, Jess, has played with us before. Brutal Nerd has played with us, and who was a guest on our podcast, episode 3. And those are people who have never played a shooter on console or on PC before. Shy Guy Brigade, Frankie, was episode 6 or 4. And episode 4, and he's never played a shooter on a console before or on a PC before.
Like your wife. I mean, I don't know if you even talked about her because I was too busy shooting people.
There's been several people who have not the type of people you would associate to come play first-person shooters who've been watching it on Twitch and going, that looks really fun. And that's something because it's doing something different. It captured something. And I think it's that mix of start and stop. We got to sit and we got to wait this one out. No, we got to be really aggressive right here. We've got to go find the right loot. We've got to stick together. We got to work as a team. We got to communicate. All those things together are like make it better than the sum of its parts, I'd say. Also,
weirdly for me, this is totally contradicting what just happened because I did rage ever so slightly, but I don't seem to care if I die in this game. I know some people, i.e. Krunnk, who does get quite ragey if he dies, but for me it doesn't feel like that. I don't care if I die. I will just happily go back into another game.
I have never raged this game once. What are you talking about?
Let me interject for just a second on that statement. I yesterday was close to losing it, and I think it's because first of all you're frustrated with how you play, and then there are things in this game you absolutely have no control over, and it's frustrating at times, but man, I this game, because of all the jank, that's what's made me not so serious about playing.
Yes.
Which is probably not at the benefit of the teams I play on, but it's very relaxing to me.
Yeah, but again, the social side of it comes into it then, Gorby, because if you don't take it that seriously, it's just a fun game to play with your friends.
I just like to play this game because I can pretend I have friends.
Aww.
Oh.
That's the other thing about this game is a match at the most, if you win it, is 30 minutes, 35 minutes tops. So it's not like League of Legends where I think it's up to an hour for League, but it could be a long match. This is nice and short.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got the pacing of it quite good with the circles, getting smaller and the blue zone coming in. I think the amount of time that you have to complete a match is pretty good.
And I don't know if I've said this, but I'm going to say it again. This game is very easy to play. Anybody can play this game, but there's also a level of depth. It's sort of like, there's a lot of games like this, but I always relate to poker, where anybody can learn poker, anybody can play poker, but to be good at it, you have to take the next step. And I think that's the thing that appeals to Krunnk, and I think that's the thing that might appeal to me if I took it more seriously. But I take very few things in my life seriously.
Yeah, leave your kids and family out of this.
I wasn't talking about them.
I was just talking about things you don't take seriously.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense. That was a big burn. I guess
I tried, but you're whiffed on that one, so it made me look bad.
It's all right. I got it, Krunnk. It's all right.
All right. As long as somebody appreciates me, damn it.
And the other, how is this one map not bored us to shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think you're hitting it right on the head there. It's the gameplay and the randomness of the encounter over the map quality. I know people shit on Splatoon a lot, but that's one thing Nintendo understood when they made Splatoon is that a variety of maps isn't as important as the randomness of how you interact with that map. And that what they do on Splatoon is every couple of hours they change maps, but they focus it on the gameplay and the interaction between the weapon types.
My game has crashed, so I'll try and rejoin.
Well, that's a good segue into another problem with this game. Just so everyone knows, the game is in early access, so it's a carte blanche rule to be broken in every way, or a carte blanche excuse to be broken in every way. But
it has got better. We'll give it credit.
Yeah, I'm giving it all kinds of. I mean, I'm singing its praises and talking about the mildly annoying things that still don't stop me from playing it for hours a day. It has some stability issues, some server stability, some client stability issues, I think.
So this is my game of the year, and that's difficult for me to say because I loved Zelda. I know a lot of people, it's kind of a mixed bag, but I really loved Breath of the Wild. I thought, wow, this game's great. And it did all kinds of things. But how can I say that's my favorite game of the year when I have 3 times the amount of hours in this game? You know what I mean?
Here's how you do it. Listen to me. Breath of the Wild's better.
Well,
boom.
You can, but the question is, so I've heard this debate on another podcast I listen to is how can it be game of the year if it's not out of early access?
That doesn't bother me. Like it might, I could see people being technically hung up on that, but that doesn't bother me at all.
I think it's the replayability of the game that is possibly why I would give it the game of the year. Because with Breath of the Wild or any story-driven game, you have an endpoint, and even though this has chicken dinners, you want to go back for more. Oh, I can get another chicken dinner, or I can get another 5 chicken dinners. There's always something more to go back to it.
And you're a vegetarian.
I know.
Now, you touched on something I'm going to bring us back to is you touched on the paid DLC. I want to talk about the loot crates for just a second. The fact is you can buy $500 pants that are just cosmetics in this game. People are paying $500 for these items.
Now, I think it's important for people who don't know how this game's economy works. They're actually you buy from them you get in-game currency for your performance. It's performance-based called BP or battle points. You spend those on crates, and inside those crates can be items. Steam lets you sell those on the Steam marketplace. Steam gets a 30% cut of all that revenue. Well, I think they get 10% off the top, 5%, and then 30% of all the money that goes to the developer. So it's not exactly that they're selling those things on a store. The developer's not. The players are trading them amongst themselves or selling them to each other. So when you go to buy a $300 pair of hot pants on the marketplace, you're actually paying the other player less a cut that Steam takes for providing the service.
I'm with Gorby on this one. If you have that amount of money to buy something that is purely cosmetic, that gives you no advantage in the game whatsoever, you have too much money.
Messed up priorities.
Right. The mobile marketplace proved this, what they call chasing whales. You guys are familiar with the term? So a whale is the 1 in 5,000 users who has so much disposable income that they will legitimately spend $500 on a pair of hot pants in a game because it's worth it, and it makes them feel special to go flaunt a really expensive thing in front of a bunch of random online players. And those are whales. So like Gorby hit it right on the head the other day when he said, when you open these crates, it's like doing a scratch-off tickets. Your odds of winning those really expensive items are infinitesimal. You're 1 in a million.
So it's literally just bragging rights.
I think so.
Absolutely. Now, there's a case to be made about certain items. As we move into different maps, we'll offer better camouflage. But let's be honest, you're not playing this game quite yet for money. Now, that will happen. I think maybe it did. I don't remember if Gamescom was a money invitational or what.
The way that worked is they had an invitational tournament, and to pay what they said was to cover the cost of providing the tournament. They sold a crate and a key, or they gave a crate away that you could buy with battle points, and they sold a key for $1.50 a pop. those keys are now $250 a pop after the invitational's over, and people still have a shit ton of crates. So as the scarcity starts to go up on those and they get less available, the price will climb with it. And then you've got a whole, bottom feeder buyer reseller market going on Twitch Marketplace or Steam Marketplace.
And I'm a guy who buys, as Krunnk knows, I buy a lot of video games, and my philosophy is $1 per hour. So if I pay $60 for a game, I used to like to get 60 hours of the game. Now I know that's not always the case.
Average though across multiple games.
But an average. So this game, however, was $30, and I have, like 10 cents an hour.
Yeah.
And so I have bought
I like boughten
5
better.
keys. Boughten is not right. But I have boughten I have gotten a few keys.
What was that?
You were talking about the bugs earlier, the jank of this game. And I can think of another game that would make me rage about the jank and the server issues and the lag. But I still kept going back, and here it is again. Wow. But I remember people ranting how it was against the EULA for this and that to happen. We still kept playing for a long time.
What game is it?
Oh, that was Warcraft. And it happened.
The
But it
original one
happens
he's talking about is Dark Age of Camelot.
It's just one of those things, like, we're pissed when it doesn't work because we want to play. It's not because, this game is, ripping us off. No, we just want to keep playing.
So one of the things that worries me about this game is how much they're going to make it pay to win. They've not shown any inkling for that yet, but that's like the thing that I worry could like spoil me on, or like spoil the game for me, is if they were to introduce something to that effect.
Like buying guns.
Yeah, if you have the money, you can buy advantage in the game.
I think you're going to see, in my opinion, cosmetic items that give you like carry ability. I think you're going to see that eventually.
One thing that concerns me about this is when they release it for a console. This might be just a completely unfounded fears, but I'm concerned that they're going to like spread themselves too thin. I don't know if they've employed other people to help them with the porting it or what.
Yeah, they opened a new office in my city in the last 2 months.
They've already, it's hard to read too much into it, but they used to give out weekly content updates.
Everybody.
Since they've announced they're doing a console version, those have slowed.
Yeah.
Well, they actually made an announcement that they're not going to put out as many updates right now.
Yeah.
Why though? What was the reason behind it?
Because then they'll put out one big patch a month versus several small patches. Oh, hey, look, I'm a bullet magnet today.
It was school, apartments are here.
Ugh, they're all terrible.
Good judge, Paul. Oh no.
I'm down.
This is going to kill us all.
Oh,
So perfect timing in the podcast. We were just cruising around, running from people, and hit a bump on our bike, and we all died.
That is such trash.
That's been happening more often.
So let's talk about the final thoughts of the game. Would you guys, if someone who's listened to this who's never played it before, like shooters, maybe not a PC player, would you say they'll have a good time? Would you say that they need to was there anything they need to do to bring to the table in order to have a good time?
No, I would recommend it. I would, if they want a social interaction, like Gorby was saying earlier, while kind of playing a less or not a serious game, definitely at least try it. You might not like it, but you'll get the social side of it out of it anyway.
Yeah, I think having a key group of friends or people that will lead to other, the more you play, the more you're likely to have a group of friends to play with.
Yeah, I would recommend, if you do get the game, I would recommend it as a solo play game for me, or people that maybe can get that kind of strategy fun out of it. But I don't know if I ever would have given it a chance at solo play had I not been drawn into it with the multiplayer aspect first. So based on that, what I would say is if you've got a group of people that you want to play, at least one or two others, definitely do that. The minimum I think you need to have a good time is two people. Until the game gets its hooks in you and you like the gameplay and the game style, then solo is okay too. It's a different experience, but I enjoy it just as much. Maybe not as much, but enough to play it a lot.
And that's the key.
Yeah, so I would recommend it. It's the most fun I've had playing a multiplayer game in years, for sure. Gorby, where can we hear more about you and your podcast?
So you can find us on Facebook at our podcast is called Table Talk Podcast. We do local comedy interviews. We do movie reviews, kind of. We talk about a lot of things, the whole gambit, really nerd culture. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/tabletalkpod, on Twitter at tabletalkpod. You can email us, show@tabletalkpodcast.com. My name is Aaron Kessler. You can find me on Facebook as well. Yep, I gave up my real name. I guess I'm not worried about being stalked too much.
Nah, I've been outside the house of your bushes. There's nobody there.
Except for your mother who won't leave.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
Well, that took a turn.
I'm all about turns.
Well, Gorby, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you taking some time and out from PUBG and to play PUBG with us while we talk about PUBG.
Great. Anytime.
All right. Now I'm going to go shut the recording off, if that's okay.
I got to pee.
Keep that in.
I'm going to go take a shit.
Yeah.